Fantastic. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the DataPride Tableau User Group 2-year anniversary event. Uh, right before we just got started, Elisa and I were just talking about how this is our third event, doing this third annual event together. So it's absolutely fantastic to be here and, 2 years later. And thank you all for coming. We've got some great representation across the board. So super excited with all of it. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Lauren Sturban. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I am one of your co-leads for the DataPride Tug. Now, today's agenda, we've got, of course, our usual welcome. We've got Elisa with the Back to Viz Basics Pride Month in Review, our third annual. We've got Lewis Yu with his Secrets of the Viz. He just did one for Pride Month last month and goes through so many different things. So super excited to have him on. And then we'll be closing. But this isn't just all that we have. There are a few surprises dropped in. So across the board, the DataPride Tug is a virtual community space to highlight, elevate, and bring together the LGBTQ plus community in data and our allies. And this is 3 years now, or 2 years now fully that we've been doing this, 3 events. That's going to throw me off. That's going to throw me off a little bit, thinking, our third annual event. But it has been an absolutely amazing time meeting so many of you, bringing things together, being able to not only have this tug, but also do our meetups in person, bring together so many different people. I've met so many individuals in the data fam, more than just what I had beforehand through this tug, and it's been absolutely fantastic. So, of course, like I said, Lawrence Durbin, he, him, his, one of your co-leads. We've also got the wonderful Sarah Carr, who is on as well, who is one of our co-leads. Could not have done this the past 2 years without her. But surprise one, we are introducing a new co-lead to help us out. And this individual is not a stranger to DataPride, has been one of the biggest supporters as well over the past while. Kyle Massey, he, him, his. And so Kyle, you are here. And we want to thank you for joining. I know we've had some talks, and Sarah and I have had some talks, and we are so excited. For those of you who have not seen, Kyle has talked to us about coding, data dev, has been at all the events, has just really supported us across the board. So welcome, Kyle.
Yay! I'm so excited to be here.
Yes. So for those of you who don't know, just give us a little spiel. That would be great.
Sure, absolutely. Like Lauren said, my name is Kyle Massey, pronouns he, him, his. You can see my socials on the slide there. I won't read those to you, but just a little bit of background. I've been using Tableau since about 2018. I really started getting into the data fam in 2019, 2020. And then actually my boss is the one who pointed out this tug to me. And I've really tried to be at every meeting that I could be since finding out about it. I've been at all the meetups. This tug means a lot to me as someone who is very visible as part of the LGBTQIA plus community, both at work and in the data fam. I think this tug is very, very important and does really great work. So when Lawrence and Sarah asked me if I wanted to get more involved in a co-lead role, I didn't even hesitate. So I'm very excited to be here. I can't wait to see what we all do together. And thank you for the opportunity.
Of course. No, I'm super excited. We met through this tug, through other things, and it's just been one of those things, like I said, having met someone through this tug and through the community that's just so close now, to think when we met 2 years ago or a year ago. Wow. So excited to have you. Thank you for, answering the charge.
Absolutely.
So surprise number one is done, and we are so excited for it. But that's not the only surprise we have for today. But before we get to any others, super excited. Back to this Basics Pride Month review with Elisa. This is our third year doing this, like you said, Elisa. So excited to have you here. I'm going to stop sharing and let you take over. But, when we first started this in 2022, oh, wow, I feel old. Time flies. We had just started this, just announced it. You reached out to do the Back to Viz Basics 2 years ago, and now it's just become one of our things. It's an annual thing for us to partner, and that expanded since we started 2 years ago with Back to Viz Basics. It's expanded to more. This past year we did Makeover Monday. We did diversity in data. We've done so much as well, but you were our kicking off point, and so thank you for that. But I'm going to give it over to you.
Oh, thank you for that. One, what a great surprise! Congratulations, Kyle. He announced it, and I was like, "Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, absolutely." So, welcome to the team. I love seeing great groups have more energy and more leadership brought in to keep kind of building things and carrying them forward. I think you'll be a great addition to this group. I'm really excited to see where you guys head. And
Thank you.
am absolutely thrilled to have the opportunity in on the ground floor. Like 2 years ago, I was pretty new to Back to Biz Basics. You guys had just had the idea to start up a DataPride tag to raise awareness and more visibility and just make sure that there is a consistent check-in point in the Tableau community to focus on LGBTQIA issues. And it was Pride Month. And if it's Pride Month, you've got a Viz. So I've actually got a little bit of history of our collab in my slides, which now everyone please bear with me. Switching to the slides is my least favorite part of any presentation, so wish me luck. Okay. Slideshow. So this can work. Great.
Looks great.
All the way down at the bottom of the slides. So,
Never fails.
never fail. You're looking at them. So, what is Back to Viz Basics is a Tableau community project. There are several. If you're not familiar, Basics is, I'll tell you more about that. There's also a project that is the original project that kind of got all of the projects started. There's also Games Night Viz, which I bet we'll hear a little bit more about from Lewis in a bit. Their diversity in data was called out as well by Lawrence, which is a monthly drop. So any niche, any topic you've heard Viz what you love, and there's all sorts of opportunities to find data sets that people have pulled together for you in a community of people who are working on building their public portfolio, learning in public, practicing their skills, and getting to know other people who like to Viz on the topics that you care about. So that's a little bit about community projects. Back to Viz Basics, as it might sound, is designed to be beginner friendly. Because what? Getting started with Tableau can be daunting. I don't know about you, but the first time I opened Tableau, I saw a bunch of windows and a bunch of words, and I was pretty overwhelmed. And I closed it and I went to my boss and I said, I would love to do this, and you would love to send me to a course to learn how. As a former, I was the class nerd, as I'm sure many Tableau folks were. So I did really well in a structured learning institute environment. So for me, going and learning a class, going and sitting down in a class is how I got over that hill. That's not something that's available to everyone. It's not everyone's preferred learning style. And Back to Basics was designed to help Tableau feel less daunting. So we have a wiki clean data set that shouldn't have any curveballs or confusing elements in it every 2 weeks. And then with that, we release a prompt to help you practice and refine your visualization fundamentals, aka Viz Basics. It's back to Viz Basics because it's open to anyone at any skill level. Anyone who practices consistently improves. I believe that really strongly. And I've seen amazing growth in individuals over the years who have done Back to Viz Basics for any consistent amount of time, anywhere from 5 weeks to we have people, I believe, we have people who have been doing every prompt for the entire project, which is just a phenomenal. Next year, this is a Back to Viz Basics. The prompt was bar chart. This was the very first data set and prompt put out by the project. As we've mentioned several times now, I co-lead Back to Viz Basics. It was not my idea. I'll get there in just a second, but I've been on board since about 5 months in, and you've got some of my Vizes up there. Toss a coin to your Witcher was a Data Plus Music challenge. That one's a little bit quieter these days, and as a result of being involved in Viz Basics, I've gotten the chance to speak at conference. That's me with Sekou and Larissa Amarosa, which was a phenomenal opportunity. Enjoyed having the chance to talk about Tableau Public and the impact it can have on your career, your life. And then over there in the top corner with Sarah, when I won the Community Leadership Award at last year's Tableau conference. When I'm not visiting, I like to nap. When I'm not napping, I like to read. When I'm not napping or reading, I like to get outside. And I'm joining from New Hampshire today, but I'm typically in Reno, Nevada, just down the hill from Tahoe. So skiing and hiking are two of my favorite things. Back to Viz Basics was thought up by Balash, who is a senior manager, and I think he might even have been since that at this point. For Lovelytics, he's based in Arlington. He has been selected after 4 years of being a public amber. He's got a handful of days, and Back to Viz Basics was his brainchild. He has gotten married and has a really cute puppy. And this year, we also joined added a third rock star to our team, Aria, who is one of the absolute fastest rising stars in the Tableau Public community. She is phenomenally talented. She is already 7 Viz of the days, and I think that's outdated. It seems like every time I turn around, she's got another one. She's phenomenally talented. She also does makes jewelry and enjoys watercoloring. And she releases tips to go with the prompt every week that are super helpful. I hope that we can collect the tips on the site because they're great fundamentals of fizzing. They're really clear and really well formatted every week. So why? Viz Basics, like I said, it's simple, clean data, and we let you focus on one thing at a time. So here's an example from earlier this year. It was a scatter chart of season, and we encourage you to focus on a few specific things, using colors purposefully for enforcement or emphasis, paying attention to your fonts, type, sizes, alignment, and seeing what difference it makes when you change things up. Making sure that you go through and you edit all of the formatting. So there's a really big difference when you're looking at a Viz and you can tell that somebody left everything in Tableau default, which is great for data exploration mode, but doesn't tend to be the most effective when you're communicating insights, ideas, and patterns. It helps you just trends, simple, and that being part of a learning community as a way to speed boost your growth and make it more fun, make it easier. You kind of turn around after you've been a community project for a while and look back behind you, and it's kind of like, not to tie into one of my hobbies, but it's kind of like hiking a mountain. You're only ever going one step at a time, and you turn around and that is a long ways back, and you're like, man, I never, like, some hard and some parts were easy, but because I kept going, I made it really far. So we go through all sorts of challenge topics, bar charts, line checks, scatter plot. We go back to those every January when we pick up the New Year's resolution, folks, so that if you're only coming back once a year before life gets busy and work picks up and gets in the way and what have you, build a serious extracurricular commitment if you want it to be. It can also be quick and easy. You drop in, practice when you can, get it good enough, and put it on public and keep growing. And since we do 1 to 2 collabs with Back to Biz Basics and Pride per year, we've actually done several of these different topics on Pride. Because we're data theme agnostic at Back to Biz Basics, we love collaborating with other groups. So we've done real world fake data. A lot of times people come to a community project looking to build up their portfolio and get a new job. So we try to, there are things that would be appealing to a potential prospective new employer that people would be putting into their portfolio as part of being part of this challenge. DataPride has a special place in my heart as a member of the community. So I make sure that we connect at least once a year on that. Games Night Viz, super fun. Data FanCon is about different fan data sets. So we do a mix of serious and silly, of fun and professional. And here are some of the ones done in the past. This is effective. The very first year, the Viz Basics prompt was a diverging bar chart, and the data set was, let's see, it was from Pew. Thanks, Chris, for putting that in the footer. And there was a lot of rainbows that year, a couple of different orientations. So here's a sample of, this is Chris Westlake. If you're not familiar, he was the most recent Iron Viz champion at this Tableau conference. And that is from 2 years ago, just a rising star doing nice work. The familiar name is today. And this one is Luke, who was doing a bunch of these for a while, really focused on the design element. We did a data set that later at the Human Rights Campaign Foundation's Corporate Equality Index, looking at different places that were known to be good or less good for LGBTQIA folks to work. And the prompt that for them was build a symbol map. We got a bunch of different symbol maps. That one is Nicole Marks. We've looked at the Lambda Literate, which are awards given to various categories of books. And the assignment for that one was build a text table. This example is Tomoko's. And then You Are Loved, a billboard specifically targeted in states where folks might not be get it, they were loved. And this data set and suggestion was from Sarah. And we got ones including Dennis Cow, the Map Doctor Art Project, on that's the dark mode one. Agata Keterik, who is also a Tableau public ambassador. And there were lots more examples. So if you want Pride visits, I think I did data reviews, so there's archived versions of us looking through them all together. And they're all still up on Tableau Public. And that brings us to this year. So our topic this year, suggested by Sarah, was the history of the gay games are similar to the Olympics. They wanted to call them the Gay Olympics, and they got sued. So, they've all and stop sharing and share the whole window because I want to show you guys the data set. This way. Perfect. So the was pretty small. This is a pretty approachable data set, I think. It's a little bit wider. So we have here the sequence, the title, where it was, start date, and tidbits, how many sports, how many participants, how many athletes, a subset of sports included, and estimated total attendance was only available for some years. And so that out of these 14 lines of data, and however many columns is O, we got this entire wealth of creativity. And I'm just doing an overview right now. But you can see that a lot of different ideas and a lot of different interpretations. The prompt this year use an annotation. If you're not familiar with annotations, it is a little note of chart that you made there into a or to note an interesting data point, basically a comment that you can put in a visualization. They're a little bit harder to work into a dashboard. They're phenomenal for data storytelling. And one of the things that I like to help out with Backtip is basically making an assignment so that when you're encountering something new at work, it's the first time, but it's not your time using it. It's really straightforward to do. Like if you've never done something before, you don't know it's going to be hard, how fiddly it's going to be. So just kind of like opening the box on that skill before you have to do it under pressure. To me, people too. So this year's visit, I'm not looking at all of them today, but I've pulled out about half, maybe a little more than half, and grouped them by theme. So one thing that I noticed with the first thing I noticed was that there usually was the whole prompt. So it was very open in terms of chart choice, in terms of arts. People really took the prompt in very different directions. So what I have about this one is you know what you're looking at right off the bat. We've got the history of gay games. Here is circles. So we've used color to show the different years. Has a little bit of a rainbow vibe without being super explicit. And the animations here, while the little words are a little larger font, or maybe I'm just out to fit it all on my screen.
Hey,
That's possible
Elisa, real
too.
quick.
Yes.
We have been getting some lag. If you want to keep talking, but take video off to hopefully help with bandwidth just a little bit.
Yeesh. So not my face. Gotcha.
Either way, yep. Just so
Here we go.
that, because there has been some cutting out. So hopefully, thank you.
All right. How's that?
Better so far?
Awesome. I will thank you for letting me know. So for this, use the annotations on the theme, and we've got size and color on the different circles, showing the number of participating athletes. Color and size of circles is also tied into this one, which is by Yasushi Ishikawa. And the annotations over here, gotta love it, are to ask about different games. So there's a call out here that in the late 90s, the games moved to continents, which is reinforced by each continent being a line here. And there's the little hint at these are the possible places that the games might be held in 2026 and presumably beyond. Also in this one, we got a nice big title, Gay Games, and a little bit of explaining what you're looking at. So nicely done. And then this one is Sintra Jaggernaut. And this one also has colors and size on the circles. So that was the first theme that I noted. And she's got one annotation calling out the year that had the highest number of participating athletes, giving us a little bit more information that it was from 40 countries. Moving on to a focus on annotations by Hideki Yamamoto, who goes by Chasoso online. This is a fun technique where if you click on the end, it actually swaps which annotation is included. So I think there's two kind of unique things going on here. One is this tilted line chart. Two is we also have participating athletes as the pre-attentive attribute scaling the circles. But there's this fun little blocky world map with the little red dot that moves. And when you click on the annotation, which annotation is visible changes. So those are two fun techniques that I appreciated in this Viz as well. This is a similar type of idea where the annotation is more information about the Viz. We've added in the element of ape. This is by Yane Okamoto. And I also love that if you earlier, when I was clicking on the different ones, they changed. So it starts at San Francisco, but if you click on number 5, it switches to Amsterdam and gives you a little bit of that more granular information, specific game. This background map is also, for lack of a more technical term, pretty cool. I like the dots. It's a nice way to kind of create the context of we're talking about the whole world, but it emphasizes the shape of countries. Sticking with the annotations theme, this is where if you click, annotations change. What I love about this one is that Ryo Takahashi all out and got a flag symbol. So you can see that for the US ones, we've got the US flag, but then when it changes, if it changes, if my internet is behaving.
it never fails. Tableau Public always wants to refresh the visit that you have opened.
It sure does. It does. Okay, so we get it. There's an example. So using the menu and not the clicking, we switched from US to Canada, the Canadian flag pop, and yeah, we've got this filling chart with the gradient, and the annotation is being used to give us more information about the game. The annotations are giving us some history through time. We have a map, and we also have 3 different trends of bar charts. This is Tomoko's, and this is the beginning of the slip. Shows a businessy versions. I think of business dashboards as a couple of charts that are in conversation with each other. Together, they tell an overall theme, and different people coming to them might be able to get different insights. So, you know, somebody might come to this and say, oh, looks like most of the games have been in the US, but they're starting to move internationally. There's been a general upward trend with nations participating. Oh, there were a lot of folks in 1994, and it hasn't quite gotten back up that high yet. But the number of sports included has increased over time. So you can get all of those insights from this dashboard. What I like about this is that the palette's very, very limited, so you'll be able to all fairly easily. It's not overwhelming. So nice work there. This one is the Trescott's. And I think I meant to put it earlier, or maybe we're still on the map theme. Yeah, I think we're still on the map theme. So also using the annotations to call out the locations. Most host cities have been located in North America. Africa's never hosted, but South Africa is in the running to host in 2030. So that's fun. We've got colors on continent, and then she's also spread so that you can see the sequence of when things were where, which is pretty great. I think you notice there a little with this format at the bottom a little bit more that it's alternated between, you know, it was really in the US at first, and now it's in Germany every other time, more or less. Elisa also image with a semi-transparent white rectangle hosted over it. This is a technique that I see a lot on Viz of the Days because it's a great way to add color and theme to your Viz without kind of making it complicated or overwhelming. Like, it's a very nice aesthetic design technique. And then you can have one map that you've had well interpreted that communicates something clearly. And the folks seem to like to highlight work like that. So I don't think that one was Viz of the Day, but it looks very similar to many that I've seen that have been highlighted. So that's on your wish list. Give that style a try. You don't actually have to be, I know this is a Tableau user group, but you don't actually have to use Tableau to complete the Back to Viz Basics prompts. We try to make them at least 90% tool agnostic. Every once in a while, we'll call out a specific simple data clean, you know, focused practice, something that'll apply across tools. So for the past weeks, John Schwadish has been using a tool called Flourish to complete the Viz Basics. So the theme here was the annotations talking about trends over time, but there's a couple, he's got, I think, 4 kind of like a mini slide deck that's possible in this tool called Flourish, which I think is completely online and I hadn't heard of, he started using. So if you're tool set, you can check that out. Or yeah, and it seems like it would be fairly good to business type presentations. It's got kind of a PowerPoint plus data vibe. to business. This is showing a variety of different chart types that people used. We've got a scatter plot over there, and the annotation calls out an analytic insight. I also love it when people are a little less formal in their public work because you kind of get to know them and their sense of humor. We've got the text table over here, and fairly straightforward. I would guess this is a tiled layout, and so a great chance to practice that as well. Got this square line style that you can do in Tableau, a map and a scatter chart. So again, this is making a couple of basic charts, putting them together, and putting them out there. And and you can practice your URL action. So click and it will open the Wikipedia page on that. The plot and calling out different data points. And it looks like I did one annotation per chart. You can annotate a text table. There's enough for today. This one I've included because they did a tree map. And I think that's too. I think it's like it's tree map on number of sports with color by states. So, maybe not necessarily the most intuitive thing to do with this data, but I do love that they tried a bunch of different things. You've got your bar chart and an insight line chart and this fun little gradient on it. The event is in demand. This one is Risus, and what I love here is that she went and found the logo images for each of the games. So enhancing the data set and pulling it from the data that was provided, adding a little extra spin. I also think that she was practicing using a different map projection because she's got credit for the map projection to Brian Moore. So yeah, just lots of different directions people took the prompt. I love this one. There's color. It's pretty straightforward. The annotations are straightforward. You can do this effectively with basic techniques or with advanced techniques. And we really get the full spectrum. So closing out, the last three that we're going to look at are one chart, one site. I think I've got one in here. But we're going back to more of that simple approach. We've got a title. We've got this one. There's the custom heart icon, which is calling out the most attended gay game, which aligned with the 25th anniversary of the Stonewall riots. Higher than other similar events. So probably a lot of people came because they wanted to be a part of it, New York, to not come up with a custom phrase. Let's see. RSVP confirmed. So this is the last one that we're looking at today. And it's again, gay games. It's there. It's bold. They pulled in a logo, the rainbow theme, dark background, two charts, and just a couple of specific and by Yuko Nakamura. So overall, phenomenal work this year. I'm really happy both with the annotations and with the variety of different directions that people took this prompt. If you're interested in doing more back to Viz Basics, or if you're interested in doing back to Viz Basics, this is the information that you need. You can follow any of us. Myself, when we a new post out, which is every other Monday. Then it's posted. We post about it on Twitter, LinkedIn, and on Data World, which is where I upload the data sets. That's where to get it. And you just publish to Tableau Public or your platform of choice. Ideally, send it to the tracker. I go and find these things. There is a tracker viz on Eric's profile, and it's an amazing library of all of the work that people have done for Back to Biz Basics for the past, we're in our third year. They're linked to from there. So if you ever need a library of how people use annotations, for example, different techniques, it's all there for you. You can click on them, download them, reverse engineer them. And people are also amazingly receptive. If you can't figure out how they did what they did, ask them. My experience is that if people are excited enough about this tool to put their work out there in public, they are more than happy to talk about it to a total stranger who might not be a total stranger for long. I've made some really good friends through the Data Fam, and a lot of times it started out with a, hey, how did you do that? I downloaded your workbook and I still can't tell. I'm really good friends with Jessica Moon, and one of the first reasons I talked to her was she did a Back to Biz Basics bar chart where she had used little images for each of the bars, and I still have no idea how she did it. But it was the start of a conversation. She showed me. She absolutely showed me. And that one's on me. But so that's how you get involved in Back to Biz Basics. Visiting tips. Sometimes we get a video out. If people want feedback, we try to get it to them, but I'm not quite as active on Twitter as I used to be since now it's not Twitter anymore. So that's about Back to Biz Basics. That's about Pride. Like I said, our third year of the collaboration. I love that we've been able to do this. I love that we've got an ongoing project at this point. I love that we've been able to find positive and uplifting aspects of being queer. There's a lot of data out there. It is to be a member of this community, and we might be back to the point where we can do another one of those, but mostly we just want to focus on the joy and happiness and kind of uplifting aspects. Because, honestly, the fact that everybody else has an opinion about your life isn't something that needs more press.
No, it's not. And no, I love the fact. So first off, thank you for going through all of those vises and, really doing that highlight again for a third year. And, it's always great you walking through those and noting different aspects of it and even showing things that, yes, like you said, it's a Tableau user group, but hey, we had someone do it in a different tool because even in our verse, we love Tableau. That's why we're here. But we are data. We do see the visualizations across the board in so many different areas. So really appreciate that. And you're right. We've had those tough data sets when we started and really trying to highlight the good parts of it is sometimes difficult, but we've been able to do that. And with your partnership with Sarah, finding a lot of this data, to be honest, as well, it has been absolutely fantastic. And seeing these vises, and I think even Kyle put it in there, those made by allies, those made by, the community, seeing so many coming out of Data Saber and Japan has been absolutely fantastic as well. But, Elisa, thank you for year 3 of this. We are so excited, to keep on with this. We can't wait to have you at our 3-year anniversary. So our 4th one of these events.
And I was
sent
not watching the chat. So if there were any questions, comments, feedback as I was going, no?
No, just, with the lag, but we got through the rest of it, and that was great, and that did well. But no, just a lot of great feedback there across the board. And we posted the links to Back to Those Basics, to all the other community projects, to connect with you as well. So thank you so much. And it's always great to have you here.
No, it is a pleasure and a privilege.
Yeah, you are fantastic. So with that, surprise number 2. I'm going to ask Sarah to come on up. We are doing a surprise little Tableau gift card giveaway.
Thank you, Lawrence, and thank you, everyone, and thank you, Elisa, for that wonderful presentation and collaborating with us all these last couple of years. I did a random drawing of the attendees, and the winner of the Tableau store gift card is BJ Price. So congratulations, BJ. I will message you in the chat to get your email address to send you the gift card. Congratulations.
Congratulations. That's awesome. Yeah, so surprise number 2. So super exciting. And, we try and do these every once in a while, and it's been a little bit. So congrats, BJ. Now, thank you, Sarah. And now, with that, we move on to Secrets of the Viz, some Pride Month. So, want to welcome Lewis Yu up onto the stage. And Lewis, let's get you up here. So excited to have you. I know it's super early in the morning or late at night, depending how you look at it for you. So I thank you. Lewis, you have been such a great friend to me in the community, and to DataPride, and such a supporter. So super excited to have you presenting with us now. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and you can take it away.
Thank you, Lawrence. Thank you for having me. It's a real pleasure to be here. I think often in times we want to support the community in many ways that we can, and I think just showing our support through. I mean, I don't do a lot of this on Pride, but I try to support you guys as much as I can through other activities. I do like the Secrets of the Viz, so which is what I'm here to share today. So thank you for having me again. So I will go ahead and share my screen. Let me see, where is that button? And I think it's this one. And there we go. You guys can see my screen good, right? Let me see.
I can't see it yet, Lewis.
What about now? Yeah.
Yep, we can see you now.
Awesome. All right. So hi, everyone. I'm Lewis. I'm a Tableau public ambassador, co-lead for games like this. Like Elisa said, I've been doing this for like 3 years together with Will, Tina, and recently we got Anne Pulley on board. So games like this holds a very special place in my heart because I'm from the video games industry. So it's about putting out data sets that people can practice their visualization skills through a fun way. So kind of visiting what you love, because we have a lot of really awesome community projects like, Back to Basics, Makeover Monday, Workout Wednesday, and so on and so forth. But we really wanted to inject a little bit of fun into the community, because who doesn't love games, right? So if you're keen to check it out, we do have a website, which is gamesnightviz.webflow.io. And currently we are actually running a challenge. We do this like every couple of months with a new theme. So this month we are collaborating with the Japanese Tuck and Data Noodle to come up with this challenge called Cooking Up the Spice of Data. So if you have played any of these games like Harvest Moon, Overcooked, Cooking Mama, and so on and so forth, or even Stardew Valley, I think that is probably more relevant. Feel free to drop a viz on some of the data sets that we have curated. And we will love to see what you come up with. So we've extended the challenge to the 16th of September. And right after that, we're actually doing a collab with Back to Viz Basics. So it's coming in a full circle. So I'm really excited about it. Apart from that, I am also the co-lead for Singapore Tableau User Group, together with two of my other co-leads, Phyllis and Aloysius. So we've been doing this for, I think, the past year and a half, I would say. Yeah. And recently I've kind of dabbled a little bit more into creating content for YouTube, which is why I started this Secrets of the Viz channel. So apart from that, I am a video games nerd, I'm a coffee addict, and some of you might know I am a huge Marvel fanboy. I do own a life-size Iron Man helmet, which I can't remember where I placed it, but it's mechanical, so you can tap on it and it opens up and stuff like that. So maybe next time I'll show you guys. So to get started, this is the logo. So usually for the YouTube series, I'll start off to say, welcome to another episode of Secrets of the Viz. But generally what I do there is that I create weekly content of either deep dives or interviews, because most of the time when we look at Viz of the Days on Tableau Public, we'll think about how did that person created that amazing Viz. And as community leaders, we often tell people to download the workbook and try to reverse engineer. But sometimes it's not easy to traverse in another person's workbook because you don't really know their thought processes and how they created that calculation, especially if you are kind of new to the community. So I wanted to offer a way that I can teach that in a more digestible manner. So the videos, I think to date, I have about 15 videos, which is split between a instructional video where I go in and try and recreate some of the vizes in this Viz of the Day. And the other portion would be me interviewing the authors of these vizes to kind of understand what is their design inspiration, their thought processes, and how they gathered the data, the challenges behind, stuff like that. So it's a really interesting because you get to see how similar or how different people are in terms of creating a Viz, because everyone has their own styles and processes. Some of them use Figma, some of them use Illustrator, some of them just sketch it out on the paper and stuff like that. And it's really interesting to see how people work, because you get to learn from every person's different experiences. So you can actually access the entire playlist through the tiny URL that I placed above. So if I've tried to keep each of the episodes really short, about less than 10 minutes. So it's really a very quick way of diving into some tips and tricks. Okay, and last month, I actually did a recap, or rather, I picked out 4 vizes from the Tableau Public's Pride Celebration Gallery to kind of feature and reverse engineer to understand how they created some of the vizes with it. So today's topic would be going through all these 4 vizes. The first one is by Pablo, which is It's Not Wrong at All for Pride Month. And then the second one we'll go into is Damula's 16 Must-Watch LGBTQ Movies. And then we'll go on to Lisa's RuPaul's Drag Race. And finally, with Saka's Love is Love. Right. So let me just open up the first one. Right. So this is Pablo's, I would say, a very unique viz that you don't really see quite often, right? So this shows the change of same-sex relationship for the past 50 years, broken down by age groups. It's a pretty unique chart called the petal diagram, or some people call it the polygon chart, right? So the boxes of each of the age groups expands outwards from the center point. So it indicates a larger matrix value as it grows. So in order to create this, you will need a LOD function. Don't worry if you can't remember all of this because it's recorded, so you can always look at it again. So what Pablo did was that if you look at this calculation, it's basically a max of a LOD function that includes every year and age permutation and uses the average. The only thing that you probably need to take note is if you have multiple rows of data for year and age, then you might want to kind of be aware of how averages work, because it will take like the entire range and divide it by the number of rows, right? But for the most parts, this works well because for Pablo's data set, there's only one record for each of this permutation. So once you have this, you can actually create the X and Y axis. So by default, if you take a look at, if you think about visualizing, you will always have the X-axis and the Y-axis, right? So in order for us to kind of flip the values to the left side of the axis, so you can see that the lines actually represents the axis itself, the zero line. So we need to kind of flip the values for the certain age groups to the left. So what he did was actually a very neat trick. So just looking at the age, if it is 35 to 49 or 50 to 64, then I'm just assigning it to a negative value, right? And then the next thing he actually did is using a square root. So what square root does is it normalizes the value. So each of the value increases and decreases at the same rate, right? Because you might have some values that are really extreme, but this actually normalizes it into a scale that is uniform, right? So the same thing he did with the y-axis. So in order for you to flip on the top and the bottom side. So once you have these two, what he did was that you can just put it on a x-axis. Sorry. You can use minimum or maximum. It doesn't really matter. And then you have this one, right? And then you can have the year and the age dragging into the detail. So now you can see that each of the points are actually plotted along the axis from the center point. So from here, what you want to do is just drag the value into the size. And what he also did was that he wanted to split each of these values into a small multiple. So to do that, you can either do something like this, which is kind of like hard-coded, or you can use an index function, right? So with that, you can actually put this across here and here, right? And change this to a square, play around the size a little bit, right? And then, sorry, this should be the other way around. They probably can't, yeah. And then you can color it accordingly. Okay, and then this is how you actually create that polygon chart. Yeah, it's not overly too complex, but you can play around with different shapes and objects to create something like that. So that's for Pablo's viz. The next one is actually this one, 16 must-watch LGBTQ movies. I really like this one because it has a very thematic design to it. So you can see like all the movie reels and the cassette tapes and all, and the popcorn, which is really fun. So over here, what I want to highlight is all of these tapes are actually custom shapes. So you can import them as a image. But what's interesting is, let me see. All right. So if we take the average, where is the is it the average score? No, audience score. Wait, was it audience score? Let me see. Yeah, oh, it's the average. Okay, so it's the average, right? And he basically break it down by the names and the code. I think he only selected the first 8, right? And then change it to a shape with this as. So you can see now, this is actually within the repository file in your My Documents that you can actually add all these images into it and assign it to the individual points. And you can increase the size to a maximum. And you can see from here, you can't actually go any bigger than this, right? So even if you try to hack it by adding a minimum 1 and just dragging the size, it doesn't really do anything, right? So how he actually did it was you can actually go to format. There's this option called cell size, right? You can either use Control Up as the shortcut key or use this one. And you can see that now the size of the each of the shape actually increases, and you can play around with that. Right. You can also reset the size if you need to by just going to Worksheet, Clear, Manual Sizing. This is how actually he did this sizing for the cassette tape. So it's a really neat trick. Then third one they want to go through is Love is Love. Right. So this one is pretty interesting because I think there was a phase in time where people started to create a lot of these pixel maps. And I think now Iron Quest is happening, and the theme this month is on maps. So you could probably use this to inspire you to create something for Iron Quest as well. So in order to create this, there's this website that you can go to called pixelmap.amcharts.com, right? So over here, you can select the different types of shapes you want. So you can either go with a circle, a diamond, a square, or hexagon. So for just illustration purposes, we'll go with a circle. You can set the distance between each of the points, and you can just click on Generate Pixel Map. And from here, you can actually see that now it creates all these different points where now you can actually click on the HTML. So don't worry if you don't really know anything about HTML. The only thing you need to know from here is you need to copy everything from, you can see here, there's this thing called data provider. So you copy this entire chunk all the way to the bottom on the very last country. So over here, you can see that this is the country code. So you can just copy everything to this last point and paste it in a notebook, a notepad. Let me just copy this. I can show you. Okay. All right. Oops. Why is it not copying? Copying, copy, and paste. All right. So from here, what you want to do is we don't really need all this. So you can remove this and just keep the curly brackets, and you can keep all of this. And then from here, you want to save this as a JSON file. So you can click on this, like WordMac pixel.json. So JSON actually stands for JavaScript. Crap, I can't remember the exact term for it, but it is a key and a value kind of structure, which is used for database and stuff like that. But once you create that JSON file, you can actually head into Tableau and just connect to the JSON file itself. So over here, once you connect, you can actually just select everything And then you can drag the latitude and the longitude over here, and you will have all the pixel map. And you can further edit the JSON if you like, to kind of give additional values for you to kind of do coloring. So currently, I think for the title is actually represented by the country. So you can see if you drag title to the colors, each of the countries have their own individual colors. So that's really cool. Oh yeah, thanks, Carl. JavaScript object notation. Yeah, trust a data dev guy to give me the definition for it. So that's so that's for the pixel map. And then the last bit would be on RuPaul's Drag Race by Lisa Trescott. So I really like this one as well because she uses some really unique charts like this circle timeline, which is not hard to build. It's just people don't really do it that often. So how you would do that is, let me just create a new sheet, right? And I think, what was it? Let's see. So it was the, okay, so it's all the different dance moves. So you have like the flips, the cut heels, knee splits, death drops. What else was there? Split, some sort. Yeah. Okay, drag it over here. You can put it to size. And what she actually did was kind of just combine the season, the episode, and song into a long string and use it as a discrete dimension. So as long as you have a discrete dimension, you can drag this over here, and now you have something like that where you can play around with the size to come up with something like that. So it's a really quick way of creating. I don't actually know the technical name of a chart like this. I'll probably call it like circle timeline or something. But it's a very cool technique. And then the next one I want to go through is this one, right? So this is a very hacky way of doing it. And what she actually did was, let me see. It's not loading. Okay. So over here, you have the song count, right, by the queen, right? So you have all this broken down by the songs, right? And just coloring it. Where is the color code? The outcome, right? Right. So you can see from here, right, there is actually multiple points over here, but because of how the bars are colored, it seems like it's just two different bars stacked on top of one another. So a cool trick, I mean, something that people don't often use is using the borders in Tableau. So sometimes it works well. So you can actually assign it to a white color, so it kind of tricks your eye that there's some sort of borders around there, which is kind of a very quick way of creating that visual effect. And then from here, what she actually also created was the choreography and the dance. I think this was the, yeah, take it off. So you have the choreography, which is, where is the choreography? Over here. And the take it off, right? So this one, because we don't need the songs, we can take that away, right? So you can see now we have all the values over here. You can just drag this labels over here just to see, right? But what Lisa did was that you can see there's this line in the back that represents the kind of like the 100% or the maximum value. So in order to do that, very simple. You just need to hack it with, I mean, this is one of the committee's favorite hacks by using like minimum 1.0, minimum 0.0. And you can actually use this, drag it over here so that it appears to the left, and then do a dual axis. So once you have that dual axis, you probably have to reassign the chart type because Tableau would reset everything. So you put it back to bar. This one is already assigned. So you set it. Oh, actually, you know what? I can set everything to bar, right? And then what I want to do is I want to take away the colors for this first. Right. So this choreography, I think Lisa probably used like a pink color or something. And then for the minimum bar, you can see that both of the axes are of different range. You don't want to synchronize them because once you synchronize them, you can see that the choreography's maximum value is 18. So if you synchronize them, the lines will disappear. So you want to just keep it so that it kind of scales the maximum value in parallel. It's not exactly apple to apple, but you can use this as a visual trick. So you can actually just reduce the size of it, reduce the opacity a little bit, and you can get back to the same visual trick that Lisa did. Right. So these are all very intentional design, which says a lot about the authors that are building the visas. So it's really interesting to kind of see how people build their visas because there are a lot of different things that they add in to add a little bit more polish to it. So which is why I enjoy doing Secrets of Vis a lot because I get to see and learn from everyone as well. So these are the 4 visas that I are sharing today. So what's coming up next is for this week and next week, I have another 2 more Pride visas to review. So one of it, I actually sat down with Stanley last week to chat a little bit on how he created the Pride of Taiwan. So it's a timeline showing how the LGBT laws in Taiwan has been passed. So I think Taiwan and Thailand are the 2 countries in Asia that has legalized gay marriages. So it's a huge win for the community. And then we have the other vis by Chimney, which is a what do you call it? A pictorial chart. Oh no, wait. Help me out here. What do you call this 100 boxes chart? Yeah, the names escapes
Unit,
me.
maybe like
Probably, I would say.
or
Waffle?
grid.
Waffle.
Waffle chart. Yes, waffle chart. That's right. Yeah.
Thank you,
So,
Ali.
so I will probably do a video on how you can actually create a waffle chart. So Chimney has a very neat trick that he's done in the Viz itself. So look forward to it. The other visits that are in the pipeline, which I have already had the interviews with all these amazing authors. It's just that I have to get down to editing the videos because unfortunately, I had such a great time chatting with all these authors that most of my interviews are like an hour long. So I need to repurpose them for a 10-minute video on YouTube, which takes a while. But it's all fun. It's all good. It's all good. So in the meantime, if you guys have any visas that you are really interested to see it being dissected, you can also head over to this link that I put here to nominate one of the visas, and I'll try my best to try and understand. I mean, there's some really advanced one like I can't think of a name, but there are some community leaders that have done amazing stuff that I still can't wrap my brain around how they do it, but I'll try. And that is all for my section today. Yeah.
Louis, thank you for going through those. I can't wait to see the backgrounds with Stanley and Chimdi, and those visits and that global perspective and how you are, being such an LA and highlighting these visits. It's so great, and thank you for going through and giving such, great breakdowns on all of these. Everyone go check out Secrets of the Viz. There are more than just the Pride ones, but does such a great review of the Pride ones, and so many more. So Lewis, thank you so much. Check out, you have links to connect with Lewis, as well as get onto Games Night Viz and others. You know, I don't game as much as I used to, but you know, love the Games Night Viz and some of the more the Legend of Zelda stuff that has been coming out of Games Night Viz with that most recent, you know, data set. So thank you for being here, and at almost 2:30 in the morning your time, my friend.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, it's been great.
Thank you. Hope to see you on here again soon.
Yeah.
And so with that, we, you know, want to thank, one more thing. We have one more announcement, you know, and this is kind of a big one. So we said we were giving you all surprises throughout, but we are so excited to announce a effort that has been coming out of some individuals at the Data School and Information Lab. The new user group, DataPride New York City. And super excited that after 2 years of DataPride as a whole and the virtual tug, that there will be an in-person focused Tableau user group. And so I want to put into presenter mode the wonderful individuals who have taken this on and will be co-leading this. Sam and June. So excited. Hello, you there?
Hi, everyone.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Hello.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Of course. So, Sam, June, I had the opportunity to meet you at TC this year, and we did talk about DataPride New York a lot. But, you know, both of you, tell us a little bit about yourselves, what got you into starting this tug, and what you see going forward for it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, my name is June, and I am a data analyst at the Data School New York, or the Information Lab. I have been with Tableau I guess I've been using Tableau for a little bit less than a year, but this year I had the great opportunity to go to TC with some of my colleagues, and it was a great experience overall. And I just think being a part of the data fam community has always has brought a lot of value to my life and in my career as well. And seeing that there's so many tugs in New York City, but not a LGBTQ plus focused tug, I kind of figured, hey, why not start one? So Salome and I actually started this tug together. And much like the Data Pride tug, we are again a Tableau user group based in New York City, focused on highlighting, elevating, and bringing together the LGBTQ plus community and our allies as well. So that's a little bit of a spiel, but I'm gonna pass it over to Salome if you have anything else to share.
Yeah, exactly like what June said. My background is in education and nonprofit work, but I decided to do a career shift about a year ago and ended up at the data school, which I'm super happy about. Found out about Tableau and the amazing user groups. In my past, I have had experience organizing community events, and I know the power of those to bring people together and just connect. So I definitely was really excited to see that a DataPride Tableau user group already existed, and even more excited to get it going so that we could actually mingle in person and start fostering those connections and just gather even more strength to our big old community. So I'm super happy to be announcing that we're starting this, and big shout out to Lawrence and Sarah for all the help they've been providing us.
Of course. And we are so excited for this and to, you know, for you all to be running this, creating this, and going from there. We'll all be working hand in hand and in tandem. Nothing's going to change with the virtual group, but we are so excited, to have this in-person one and something to go to if I ever go to New York City, even more so, even more reason to go back to the city. But we are so excited when I know we've already started talking about when is your first event. I know it's not fully live, but when is that first event being targeted?
Yeah, if I can share my screen, we actually already published the event. It's set to be on August 27th next month at our office in Union Square, 14th Street. If you're around or if you want to come around, like we would be ecstatic to have you. But let me just share this page. Unfortunately, our chapter has not been made active yet, so this is our only way of showing this event this way. So once that moves forward and our chapter gets activated, we'll be able to share our this link with you all. But looking forward to meet anyone who would like to join. I don't think I see any other person mention that they're from New York City, but if you know somebody or if you think you know somebody who might be interested, please tell them or tell them to connect with us, or maybe just look out for the DataPride New York City chapter.
And if any of y'all are ever visiting New York City, would be more than happy to grab a coffee with you at any point. We'll share our contact info in the chat. Feel free to hit us up on LinkedIn or email, and we'd be happy to connect.
That's so exciting. And there's some comments in the chat already loving the choice of the brat, style for that, thing up there. And there's been one or two comments on that. So love that choice. Super exciting. So August 27th. That is fantastic. And of course, we will be sharing out to the data to our distribution list and member list. So you all here should be getting it. And, even wider out there. So we are so excited. Cannot wait to hear more and see what else comes from you all. And this is so exciting. That is amazing.
Very excited. Thank you so much for giving us a platform to share on.
Of course. And if you want, I did put in the links to connect with the DataPride New York co-leads. And so that is in the chat, and I'm going to reshare my screen. So if you want to go off of the QR codes as well, but August 27th is that. And so with those announcements, we announced our new co-lead, Kyle Massey. We have done a gift card giveaway. And the announcement of DataPride New York City, along with the amazing presentations for the third year in a row from Elisa, and for having the wonderful Louis Yu on talking today. We thank you all for being here. Now, New York might be on August 27th, but our virtual tug will also be on August 29th. So, if you're in New York City, you can double dip and everything else as well. But on August 29th, we are super excited. We will be having a career panel with members of the Tableau community, individuals who are part of the LGBTQ plus community as well. And so we are so excited to talk No Straight Path to Data Careers with members of the Data Fam. And of course, this event recording will be on YouTube, and you will be getting all the links from today for Secrets of the Viz, for Back to Viz Basics, DataPride New York City, everything in your email within the next few days also. So with that, everyone, thank you. We thank you all for being here. We thank you for helping make the last 2 years possible. When I announced this at Data Plus Diversity in June of 2022, I never thought it would be at the point where we are adding co-leads. There are now in-person DataPride tugs, collaborations. Never thought we'd be seeing that, but I want to thank you all for being here, making DataPride what it is, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great one.
Thank you,
all.
everyone. Take care.